few minutes. So we'll join back using same link. Okay. Okay. So the software that we need is RStudio. This is totally free, open source, and you can go ahead and download it. Okay. So I'll give you a few seconds, or maybe a couple of minutes to install it and download it. So let's go ahead and download it. So how it's going to work is that, I believe in hands-on training. Okay, so I'm going to do it and show you. Okay, and while I'm doing it, you just have a look at my screen. Okay, you don't have to practice it along with me. Please don't. Okay, just listen, just see. I will tell you when to practice, and sometimes you may not even practice anything in the class. Okay, so I'll give you enough PDF notes which you can actually refer and code. Mostly I will do something and I'll ask you to do something on your computer. So it will be at any given point of time, either I'll be doing the coding or you'll be doing the coding. Okay, let's not work together so that our mind might get deviated, right? So when I am working, just look at my screen and I'll give you time for you to practice. Sounds like a plan?
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. So go ahead and install it if you have not done yet, rstudio.com, and we'll get the free one. Okay, free one has everything that we need to, so we don't have to install the license one, just the RStudio desktop. That should be it. It's better if you want to learn it for a long term. It's better that you get to internet, and also you can save your program here. So that's why we will install it and use it. And do let me know when you are done, okay? Or if you face any problem.
I think I'm done.
Great.
I'm getting a notification saying that select the version of R, so it says
64.
R64.
Yeah, go ahead and select 64.
Okay.
So, okay, so when you install it, you should see something like this, right? A window like this.
See, it installed R, but then it's saying you didn't install it. I know. When I tried to launch it.
Yeah, the same thing's happening to me.
What does it say?
So I installed R and I launched it, and it's like, use your machine's default version of 64-bit. So I clicked on that, and then it says R does not appear to be installed. Please install R.
Mhm.
Okay, so that's because you downloaded RStudio and not R yet. So you need to download R too.
Where do I download R from?
Just say download R and it will take you to the site. So here you have. This is the link. If you're still facing problem, I'll make you host. Please share your screen. Let's see.
Wait, what site do you download R from again?
In Google, just type download R. It'll take you to this site, grant.rproject.org.
Okay.
Can you share your screen to Ankur?
Keshav, I'm making you host.
Right now R is downloading.
Okay.
I downloaded, but I'm getting an error when I try to download R Studio.
Let me make you host. Let me
Okay.
just a second. Oh, I
Okay,
can't make you host. Keshav has to make you the host. Keshav, can you make Gauri the host? Because I've
yeah.
already made you, so I can't. Yes, Gauri, you're a host now. Just let me see your screen.
And by the my R Studio is working now.
Okay, great. Awesome. Okay, so yes. Yeah.
It's probably because you already downloaded it. Why are you downloading it again? You just launch it again after downloading R.
Um, it says about to stop instruction error opening file for writing. Okay, just say abort. Let's see. Say abort and see if you already have it in your program files.
Wait, didn't you already download R Studio?
Keshav, I'm trying to open it.
Okay, and it's launching it, right? So just show me. Just
Why
type
are you
RStudio.
installing?
Yeah, just abort it. Abort it for a second. Abort this one. And in program file, just type RStudio. Don't hit enter. Let's see what options do you see there.
Yeah.
Cancel it. Yeah. In program files, just type RStudio and don't hit enter. Okay. We'll just see the options that are getting displayed there. So you're getting,
Oh,
that's the only option you have, right? Okay. Can we go back to the location where you have downloaded it? And let's try to download it again. Yes. And launch it from here. Yeah. Let's see. Oh. If you don't mind, can you restart your machine once? Try. Just restart, because most of the problems get solved. It could be because of
Sure.
some other applications which could be running. Wait. It says we might not have installed correctly. Install. Okay. Let's say program installed correctly, and let's see if that works. Yeah. Let's try to launch it again. Okay. In your about it, in your program files, is it under the installed one? Just go and see. Go to program files and see if it's program. Just say programs there. Yeah. Don't type RStudio. Type program. Okay. And click on add remove programs, the first option that you see. Yeah. Okay. Now scroll down. Do you see RStudio installed there? Just keep scrolling. Go under R and Q.
R is there, but R Studio is not there.
Yeah, Studio is not there, right? Mhm. Or just restart it once, no? Or maybe, okay. See, your machine is 64 bits, so it should not be a problem. Just restart it once, okay?
Okay.
We'll wait for you.
I downloaded R Studio.
Yes. So is it installed as well?
Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. So yes, let me share my screen again, guys. And start recording as well. Okay, I think it's getting recorded. Okay, so when you open, right, this is what you would see, right? This is called RStudio, right? And it has different we call them as workspaces, okay, or the panes you see. So it has mostly the 4 windows that you can see, okay. So this is called source editor, okay. The main, this is where we'll be doing our program, okay. And this is called source editor, and it can help, we can use it to open existing files, save our program, okay, type our program, code our program. This is this is the IDE that is built in, right? So IDE is integrated development environment, okay. Like JavaScript or Python, R is a interpreter based language, right? So you have mainly 2 types of programming language. One is compiler based and interpreter based. Interpreter based, the execution happens line by line, right? Okay, so if you have to write 100 lines of code, right, it can become very not so in user friendly if you have to execute each line, right? So initially when you're learning, it's fine, you can actually see the output, but when you have kind of made some mastery over the language, right? So something like this you see here called console. So in console, if I say print, okay, and if I say hello, right, and I hit enter, okay, it's executed immediately, right? That's what console is for. So this is good when you're learning new things, right? But when you have to write a big program, this can be very irritating, right? And that's why we use this um, this part, okay? And here it will not execute until you ask it to execute, right? So it's called source editor, okay? And you see here console, right? And console is command line programs. You can add those programs. In fact, okay, the R that we have installed is linked here, the R interpreter. So when you type a program here, let's say if I say print welcome, okay, and I go and I say run, okay. So see, it actually takes the command and puts it here, right? So it is nothing more than just a notepad kind of thing, right? It's a probably notepad with additional features, but it takes the command here and executes on the console itself. So every line is displayed here, and we can, there's option to off. If you don't want it to be displayed, there's an option, we'll see, you know, in source you have that option, okay, with echo, without echo. With echo is what we want, you know, the commands will be typed here, okay. So you have this source editor, console, right? Apart from that, you have here something called as environment, okay. Environment and history, you have tutorials, you have connections. Every variable that you use is saved, okay, unlike Java where, you know, you close the program, you know, program ends and you lose all the variables. In R, it is going to, okay, save all the variables here, okay. So in fact, you can actually so the advantage of this is, let's say if you have 10 lines of code, right, and let's say 1 to 5 executed correctly, and I got error at line number 6, right? So if I go back and fix it, I don't have to run it again 1 to 5 and then go to come to 6. I can directly start from 6, okay. So in Java and C++, you have to again go back and execute the previous lines of code, right? In Python, you don't have to do it, okay. You can just execute it from wherever you want to. You don't you don't have to go to the beginning of the program. It's because of this environment, because environment will save all the information, okay. And from line number 6, you can start executing, right? So okay, as we add, maybe when you're doing it for the first time, this part will be blank, okay. You will not have anything here, but as we create variables here, you will see the variables will then be stored here, and you can clear it, okay, and it will not get clear until you clear it, right? Then at the bottom, okay, bottom right, you have files, plots, packages, help, and viewer, okay. So here it talks about the folder structure. The files will show you the folder structure. So if you want to look for any specific file in a particular folder, you don't have to, you know, do alt tab, okay. You can directly open it and see the file name here. Plots, when we use plot, we will do that after a few classes. If you want to plot any graphs, that will be displayed here. Important thing here is packages, okay. Any idea what packages are? So yeah, go ahead.
No.
Anything related to like the internet packages?
Right, it is internet packages. So what happens is, you know, and this is true with, okay, if you have practiced with R, oh sorry, not R, C++, you would have heard of something called as header files, right? And in Python also we have packages. So what happens is when we install our okay, um, so it will install the the basic okay, uh, the basic stuff, okay, or you can say basic capabilities. Okay, now every day, okay, the people who are working, it's open source, right? So lots of people, they work in their free time, okay, they don't get paid, so they work in the free time and they keep on adding new packages. Okay, so packages are nothing but these are new features, okay, that gets added. Okay, so since R, we can do many things. Okay, we can do we can do, apart from normal programming, we could do um, um, algorithms like regression. We could use it for doing some engineering projects, or let's say construction related projects, data science related projects, and things like that, right? So from where does it get all those capabilities? And if you keep adding all these things to R, the basic R, the R file, right, the exe that we just downloaded could runs into GBs, right? So what it does is, we have concept of packages. So what it says is, okay, we'll give you the basic part, and specific to uh, the thing that you're working on, right? If I'm working on a data science stuff, I will download the package. So package will give us additional, it has additional code, it has additional features, or additional functions basically, which will give us those extra capabilities. But since it has lots of uses, okay, and if everything is packed as one, file will be just too heavy, right? One, so it does not, that's why it does not add all those features as to the basic R installation, right? And based on the usage, right, not everybody will work on every project, right? We might be working on let's say if Gauri works only related to bioinformatics related stuff, so there will be packages which will have those um, bioinformatics related capabilities. Okay, and that's another advantage of using R or Python over Java. Okay, if you have to build any capabilities, you have to do it from scratch. Okay, not all the capabilities are available, but R okay, has all these capabilities available. Okay, not with direct installation, but we need to know which package to call for. Okay, so as I told you, right, we will be the session will end in 10 minutes, but don't worry, please join back with the same link. Okay, we'll use the same link to connect back. So it has those capabilities, and we just need to know which package to call. And once we know which package to call, we also need to know the function that we need to call, and that's it. Within one line of code, you can achieve things which from Java will take 30 lines or 20 lines to do it. Okay, of course, when you talk about less lines of code, of course it means less complexity as well, right? Less chance of making mistake, less chance of getting it wrong. Okay, easier to understand, easier to debug, easier to fix your errors, things like that, of course, right? So when you click here, you see these are different packages which are available. Okay, a bind, it's for, let's say, a bind you call it, so it's combine multidimensional arrays, ash, ask pass. Okay, all this. Okay, there's so many packages. Okay, and we won't be using all of them. Whenever we need something, we will just check it. Okay, check means it is ready to be used. So if it is not downloaded, okay, it will download it. When you click on install, it will download it. So all the capabilities, okay, of the package will be downloaded, and it will be available on our machine. Okay, so that's what, so packages are packages are additional capabilities, okay, additional R capabilities, which are not downloaded by default, but downloaded on demand. Okay, I need it, so I'll download it. Okay, so uh, so I think this is it for to understand what R Studio is all about. And of course, as we work more on this, we'll see how to use other aspect of this RStudio. Okay, so first thing is, let's try to see if your RStudio is working fine or not. Okay, so just type this on your screen and see if it is working fine. If you're getting an output here as welcome, can you confirm, both of you?
I confirm what?
Just type this line of code and confirm me if this is working. You get this
It's
So
result.
we make a new project.
Okay, so you click on RStudio, okay, and
Yeah.
it will open a blank screen like this. So by default, it will be called as untitled. Okay,
Oh,
and
mine didn't open a blank screen.
so what is that? What do you see?
It's this. It's just a console, terminal, and jobs.
No,
That
no,
whole
no. So,
untitled one isn't there.
did you click on RStudio or R? You should click
I
on
clicked on R.
RStudio.
I clicked on RStudio.
Uh, okay, so
I can share my screen.
yes, let's share the screen. Just give me a second. What about you, Gauri? Are you
Yeah, it's working for me, and it printed welcome.
okay? Great. So let's see what Keshav has. Keshav, I made you host. Can you share your screen?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So okay. So it is because it is hidden there. Okay. So just go to the top of console. Move your cursor on top of console and move slightly right. And on the, you see that double square, right? Just click on double square on the. Yeah, that's the place. Okay.
Oh,
You got
okay.
it. Okay, it was hidden. Yeah. So this is where you can type say print. So it is case sensitive. Okay, our program is case sensitive. So commands are in, if it is in small case, you have to type in small case itself. So type print in small case. So print is a function. Okay, and whatever we type inside print will be printed on the screen. Okay, so yeah, and every function is followed with simple brackets. So that's why you see bracket open and close, just like any other language. Okay, inside this we can give the command that we want to print on the screen. So if you want to give a text is given in quotation, right? So you give double quotation and yeah, write your any text, let's say welcome. Okay, and you go and hit on run. You see that green arrow on top right? Yes. Okay, so it is printed at bottom. Okay, so
Okay.
okay, so that means our studio is working fine.
Yeah.
Okay, great. We still have 4 minutes, so let's talk. Okay, now you have to make me host. I'm sorry. This is the problem with the
Yeah.
free version. Yeah. Okay. Yes. Now let me share my screen. Okay. So when you play with data, right? We have to know what type of data it is. Okay, and that's why we are talking about what is called as data types. Okay, because we need to know the type of data because the kind of operations that you can perform, okay, depends upon the data. So if we talk about mathematical operations, plus, minus, multiplication, division, these can be performed on numeric data itself, right? So if you define the data type as numeric number, that's when you can perform mathematical operation, right? Otherwise, if it is not number, you can perform multiplication. Like we can't perform multiplication on a text data, right? Okay, so we will learn different types of data that are available in R. Okay, so as I said, the first type. Okay, so okay, before that, let's talk about something called as comment. You know, I'm going to type it here. Hash is the way to give comment in R. Okay, so if I write something here, we are about 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 to learn what we learn data types. Let's say. Okay, so this is comment. Okay, this tells R that whatever I write followed by hash is comment or it's text for me or for other human being. This is not for you computer. Okay, so when the execution happens, right, and program gets executed line by line, so when I run line number 1, it'll print here. It goes to line number 2, line number 2 is blank, so nothing happens. Goes to line number 3, and since this is hash, our interpreter, okay, will ignore this line of code. This line will not be executed. So generally we write comments. Okay, why do we need comment? One, I might forget, right, why I did a particular, why I did a, or why did I use a particular kind of logic, right? So when you visit your own program after a couple of months, you may not remember what you have done, how you have done, right? So it's always a good practice to put the comment so that when you come back after a few weeks, a few months, you can actually see what you have done, right? And also in when you go to corporate world, your program would be used by somebody else program you will modify. So when you are modifying those programs, okay, you may not know what other person has done it, right? If the other person has written a good comment, you would easily be able to know why the particular a variable is declared, or why the particular variable is assigned a value of 100. What is the purpose, right? The same way, so when your program is read by somebody else, you don't want other person to struggle with your code, right? So that's why it is a great practice to write great codes. Okay, don't write for the sake of writing the comment or the code, but it should make sense, one, and it should be um, as concise, but at the same way as complete as possible, right? So for example, I write this line of code. It means that okay, we are going, the R will ignore this line of code. Okay, then let's say I declare a variable here called val1. Okay, val1 is a variable name. Okay, why do we use variables? Okay, we use variable because we could change the value as and when we want to, right? So if you want to use, say, 5, okay, so the example would be, let's say you are booking a flight ticket, right? And one day you might be booking for particular date, second time you'll be booking for different date, right? So date would change, right? So that's why in programming world you would store the date as a variable. Okay, yeah, welcome back. So we're talking about variable names, right? So many a times, or I would say close to 99% of the time, we would be reusing a value, right? And that's why we need to give it a declare as a variable so that we can change the value again and again. Yes, there are some constants as well. Okay, so if you want to talk about, say, pi value, now pi value is fixed, right? Or small g value, right? Acceleration due to gravity, small g is fixed. So in such cases, you can use constant. Okay, and in fact, there is a package which provides those constant values. But many times we'll be using variable names so that we could change the value based on our requirements. Okay. Okay. So let's say I'm defining a variable here, and variable name should start with a um, alphabet. Okay. So I'm going to say val1. Now I can declare val1 equal to 50. Okay, so it means I'm declaring a variable name called val1. So this is the variable name, and I'm assigning a value of 50 to it. Okay, so now I want to know the kind of data or the type of data which variable val1 has. So what I'll do is I'll say print, because print is used to print, right, whatever we give inside it. Okay, and inside it I'm going to use one more function called as class. Okay, so in this line, okay, val1 is a variable for which we have declared in line number 4, and we have class, which is a function. Class tells us the class of the variable or the type of the variable, which is being passed to it. Okay, so class is a function and print is what prints. Okay, so in same line of code we are using two functions. Okay, and there's no limit of number of functions that you can use in a given line. So in this case, function class is passed to print function. Okay, so if you don't understand, or if I'm fast, if you want me to repeat or you want me to slow, just stop me right there. Okay, okay. So class is going to give us the type of the data and it does not print. So, and print is going to print the value which is being passed. So here we have two functions, one is inside another. Okay, so in such cases, the innermost function is called first. Okay, so here we have two functions and later we'll see, we'll be using 3 or 4 types as well. So the innermost is class. The first class will execute its meaning, which is to get the class of value val1, and that will print on the screen. Okay, so I go and I select here and I say run. Okay, so see, the run is used to execute line by line. So if I point, so my cursor is line number 1, isn't it? Anywhere, it can be in the beginning or you can put it in the middle or at the end, doesn't really matter. And when you click on run, it executed just one line. See, welcome. It did not execute entire content. It executes current line itself. If a cursor is line number 10, it will execute line number 10 only. The current line will get executed when you use run. So it's good thing to see the output. See, so here val1 is 50, val1 is 50, and val1 will get added in the environment variables here as well. Now it is at print val1, print class val1, and so what has done? It has printed something called as numeric. Okay, so we're looking at the first data type called numeric. Okay, numeric is used to represent a number. Okay, numeric is used to represent a number. Now, numeric can be both with decimal or without decimal. Okay, so numeric is about both with decimal or without decimal. Okay, here we have without decimal, right? 50 is without decimal, right? Even if I, let's say, if I make it as 50 point say 0, let's say. Okay, I'm going to run the number 4 again and print again. So it still give us numeric. Okay, so numeric is used to accept both. Okay, without decimal part, integer value or the float. Okay, we have something called as integer. Okay, so if I declare this as 50L, here 50 and capital L. Now when I run it, okay, and you see it give integer. Okay, so when you write L, it will give only integer. L means it will not have decimal part. Okay, it will have minus infinity to plus in. So it accepts both in plus value and minus value, right? Plus 0, minus, all values accepted, but without decimal. That's what when we add L here, and that type got changed to integer. Okay, so when you're assigning a value, you can assign it using equal to, right? There are other ways to assign values as well. Okay, you can even use something called as, let's say I put val1 itself, val1 less than hyphen, okay, 100. Okay, so what it means is, it means that value 100 is going to val1. You there with me? Can you hear? And any questions so far?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, any questions so far?
No.
All good? Okay, yes, as I said, right? Any question, just stop me there. Okay, okay, so this I think probably you both would be aware of, right? This is how we assign value, right, in any programming language. But
Yeah.
R
Yeah.
also gives this capability. Okay, so arrow indicates that 100 is going to val 1. Okay, so val 1 will have value 100, right? So there's a reverse as well. Okay, I can say 55 going to val 1 or val 2. Okay, this is also an accepted way of doing it. Okay, it means that 55 is going to val 2. So here in line number 6, val 2 variable would gets its value, right? So see, of course, here I cannot use like this. Okay, 5 is fixed value. I cannot assign any value to 55. So if I try to do this, it should throw me error. Let's see if we get any error or not. Yes, invalid do set. Okay, so it is invalid. You can't replace 100 with any other thing, right? You can only replace variable name. Okay, so this is not acceptable. But I can do something like this. That means the value of val2, in this case we don't have it, but let's assume val2 has some value, that goes to val1, right? So val1 will have a new value which is as same as the val2, right? So arrow indicates from where to where the value is going. Okay, so this is also another way of assignment values. Okay, and you will see many places in many textbooks and online material that you will refer, you will see many times they would assign this way. Okay, so value variable name is on one side, value is on the other side, and it's going into, okay, arrow decide which value is going to what. Okay, okay, so we discussed about two data types so far. One is numeric, another is integer. Numeric, it can be both decimal or without decimal, right? Whole number. Integer is only about integer. Okay. Apart from that, we also have something called as logical operator. Okay, so I'm going to say here true. Okay, val1 true. So it's called logical. Okay, so logical, you have only two values, true and false. Okay, and the spelling has to be exactly like this, all capital. Okay, if you give, let's say, T capital and RU is small, it will throw error. Okay, because R is case sensitive language, right? So when you give when you give a string without any quotation, okay, it assumes it to be a variable name. Okay, so in this case, it's going to look for the variable name true, which is not there actually. So it will say variable not found. Okay, only when you give all capital T, R, U, E, all four letters capital, that's when it assumes it to be true. Okay, so this is called logical data type. Okay, so let's see what all things we have seen so far. We have seen numeric, okay, and numeric can be both like 5 or 5.5 decimal. Then we discussed about integer, right? Integer, and we've said L, right? We write L. Then we spoke about, just now we spoke about logical. Okay, logical has only two values, true and false. Okay, we'll spend some time to understand when to use true, when to use false. Okay. Okay, so just understand that true and false, yes, no, right? So yes is represented with true or one. Okay, in binary we have just two numbers, right? Zeros and ones. So 0 is represented as false, okay, and 1 with true. Okay, so true and false represents whether 1-0 combination you talk about, something is there and something is not there, right? So 1 indicates, or true indicates that it's there. It doesn't indicate how many it's there, right? Okay, it just says yes, it's true, right? And false is, it says it's not there, right? So that's where we have logical integer. Then we have something called as complex. Okay, now you guys may not have done this in the class. You'll hear some complex in your higher classes. I don't know if grade 11 might have something called complex. Okay, and you'll see this in math and physics actually. Complex is square root of -1. Probably till now you would have read that square root of minus is not possible, right? Square root of 4 is plus or minus 2, but square root of -4, okay, you mean so in generally in high level school they say that minus root is not possible, but yeah, it is possible. What we do is complex, we say I indicates square root of minus values. Okay, so that means if I have to find square root of say -9, okay, if I say square root of -9, what should I do? How will you write? What is the square root of -9? Any guesses?
Isn't it 3i?
It is 3i, exactly. Okay, so we separate minus and we separate 9. You can write 9 -9 as 9 into -1. Okay, so you can
Yeah.
write this as 9 into -1, and square root of 9 is 3, right? And square root of -1 is I. That's what we discussed, right? So this is called complex number, and you can handle complex numbers using R easily, you know. So this is example of complex number. So another example we'll do. Maybe we'll probably not talk about complex numbers after today, because whatever we are planning is mostly on other things like numeric, character. We'll talk about character and logical. Okay, but complex. Let's do this. Let's say if I have 4 plus 2i. Okay, if I do square of that, what will happen? Square of this means I'm going to multiply this with same value, or let's say I multiply this with 4 plus 2a minus into 4 minus 2i. So what do you think will be the output here? 4 plus 2i into 4 minus 2i. What do you get?
21.
So okay, so let's see. Let's calculate. So it is in the format a minus b into a plus b, right? If you consider 4 as a and 2i as b, it is a plus b into 2 minus b into a minus b. Yeah, right? So answer is a square minus b square, right? So a square is your 4 square is 16, right? Minus, okay, you have 4 I square, right? And 4 I square is -1. So you get -4, correct?
Yeah.
Square becomes -4, yeah? 2 square, 2i
Yeah.
square is -4, isn't it? So
Yeah,
now
it's 20. Sorry.
16 minus of minus is plus, so you get 20, right? So you get 20. Now, in computer program, whether it's R or Python, this is what we do. Like, if the starting value is a complex, we would end up creating complex number. So it's not giving complex part is 0, but still we will come up with complex because okay, you don't want to lose that value. Okay, see, if I write 20 plus 0i, it means that value of I is 0, correct? But if I write 20, Okay, if I don't mention I, you are not sure whether I value is there or I ignored it. Possible that as a user, I is not important, so I ignored it. So you will not know. If I write just 20, you will not know whether um, the imaginary part or the complex part. Okay, we call them imaginary values or numbers in mathematics. Okay, the complex number, is it included or excluded? So when I write 0 I, so you know that, oh, it is included and value is 0, right? So okay, so you can see this. Okay, let's try to do. So I'm going to say a, okay, equal to 4 plus 2I, and I will say b equal to a minus 2I. Now print a into b, right? This is what we did, a into b. Let's run it. So I'm going to run it from here. Run. So see, you got 20 plus 0I, right? Okay, so this is how you can handle complex numbers. We'll not talk about it again because whatever we are planning to cover, we will not be using complex numbers so far. So, but this is good, right? And maybe in future class or advanced mathematics, you might come across this, so you know what complex numbers are, and you know how to work with it. Okay, so yes, numeric, integer, logical, complex, and now we'll talk about what is called as character. Okay, interestingly, in Java and C++, there are two variables that are used for handling strings or text data. One is called character, other is called string. Okay, character means one single character, one character of string. They call it as um, um, like character, right? One single character. And when you have more than one character, we call it as string. That is in C++, Java. But in Python, okay, they don't differentiate between single character, multi-character. Everything is called string. Whether it's one character, also it is string. Multi-character is also string. Okay, so that's called string in Python. In R, logic concept is same. Okay, we don't differentiate between one character or multi-character. It still means same, but we call it as character. Okay, Python has taken the string, R has taken the character word. Okay, but we call it as character. Character means any string. Okay, combination of character is also character. Okay, so so if I have to say name equal to, say I say Sachin. Okay, this is an example of character. So I'm going to call this, and I'm going to paste it here, and I call it as name. Okay, and now let's run this. Okay, name is added, and then you see it's called character. A string value is called character. So we have seen string, boolean, okay, and numeric and integer. Okay. Okay, so these are the important, we call them as basic data types. Okay, basic data type because they store one value. Okay, we have complex data type, okay, or collections or data structure, we call them. We have vectors, lists, matrices, arrays, factors, data frames. We'll talk about them tomorrow. Okay, today we'll talk about this basic type only. Okay, so these are your basic type. Okay. Any questions so far?
No.
All
No.
good?
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so see, guys, I'm going to share an app. Okay, uh, that app is currently it's on Android. It is not yet on iOS. It will get, it's, we are testing it for iOS, so maybe the next 2-3 days it will be available. The documents will be shared with you on that app, okay? And the
We
recording,
don't
yeah,
we don't have Android.
you don't have Android, right? So what I'll do is I will share it on the WhatsApp group that we have created, okay? And when the app is up on iOS, then probably can download it and you can use the content, okay? So
Okay.
I'll be sharing what we are doing in the class on that, but the app has a lot more things, okay? That's why whenever you are ready, whenever my app is ready, I know you guys are ready, I'll let you know, okay? And you can install it, okay? Sounds good. And what I'll do is maybe I'll just copy and paste the code also after the session gets over, right? So that um, you have them in your WhatsApp chat as well. Okay, and
Okay.
Okay.
video I'll share it on the same group, so you can even look at the videos. Okay, so since we're talking about data structure, okay, we'll let's continue for some more time. Okay, maybe another half an hour. Is that fine?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So let's talk about this complex also, so that we know what it is, and later we will perform different operations on these. Okay, so these are basic data type, okay, because these are going to store one value. Even though string has multi-character, we still consider, the character, okay? The character has multiple characters, okay? Name has, almost 6 characters, okay? But still we consider, string or character rather, okay? Character as basic type only, okay? So the most important data structure that we use, okay, is called vectors, okay? So vector, okay, is used to store more than one value to a single variable name. For some reason, if you want to store more than one value to a single variable, we use vector. So let's say I talk about colors, okay? So colors is a variable name. If I say red, it is a basic type character, right? Let's say, but I want to store multiple. I want to store red, I want to store blue, green, yellow, right? So if I declare something like this, it's going to throw error because it's not expecting the values to be declared like this. Okay, even if I use arrow also, it's going to throw error. Okay, it is going to, it expects only one single value. So in this case, what we do is, okay, we group them together. Okay, we say that this entire thing is one single group. This entire thing is one single group, and we put something called as C here. So C bracket open and close, and inside you put multiple values in. Okay, so now colors is a variable which has more than one value. Okay, so if I say print colors, okay, I did not print color, right? So print right. So it printed all the values, okay, that is there in the variable called colors, right? Now, if I say class name, let's see what happens. Okay, print class colors. Okay, so see here, though it has multiple values, okay, since we clubbed it in C, okay, now C is not for character, okay, C is only to club them together. Okay, each of the value is of type character. Okay, that's why it gave a single value here. I mean, since all belongs to same type, we got character because each of these belong to character, right? So it shows us character. So though it is storing multiple values in same variable, but the type is at each member level. Okay. Now let's say I want to add something called as numeric 5. So I have 5 values now. First four are character, and fifth one is a numeric. When I run it, okay, so I need to run it here. So I'm going to run it, okay, and here. So see what happened. Even though I send this 5, okay. So I told you that when we declare characters, we declare using quotation. It can use single quotation or double quotation, doesn't really matter. Okay, both are treated same. You can use as a single character here, just like I did, or you can use double character, just like we did here. Welcome. Okay. So what happens, since all of these belongs to character, right? And this one belongs to numeric, okay, we cannot convert a red to numeric, isn't it? Red to numeric is not possible. We can't convert into a number red, but we can convert a number to string, or we can convert number to character without any problem, right? The number can be converted to character, but character like red alphabets cannot be converted to number numeric, right? So what it has done, it has converted this the number 5, numeric 5, to character 5. Okay, so the property of vector is that of course it can store more values, but all the values has to be of same data type, primitive data type or basic data type. It all should belong to same basic data type. Okay, so again session will end in 10 minutes. Let's connect back again, right? Let's connect back. Okay, we'll probably discuss for some more time. We'll finish off all the basic type today. Okay, and then we'll talk about variables tomorrow maybe. Okay, so yeah, let's
Okay.
connect back again. Again, 10 minutes. Okay, so yes, so the property of vector is that it can store more than one value, of course, yes, and all the values, okay, has to be of same type. Okay, if you give something which is of different type, it will be converted, okay, to a type which it can convert. So technically speaking, all the characters, all the values can be converted to character. You can convert um, boolean, logical, right? Logical to character. True can be converted to character. Just add quotation in the front and the end. You can't convert red to uh, logical, to true or to false. But true and false can be converted to character. Number can be converted to characters. Okay, so the property of a vector is that all the members should belong to same data type. Okay, so when we read content from a table, so imagine a table, and let's say table has information of student. Okay, it has first column roll number, second column name, third column say email ID, fourth column let's say phone number, right? In that particular column, okay, all the values will be of same type. You can't have, okay, a half number as numbers numeric and half numbers as a character, right? All of them should belong to same type. So that's why when we handle data, frames, we call it frames, or the tables, we will be using vector. Okay, and that's why for that reason vectors are used more often than list. List is a counterpart of vector where you can you can save the type as well. Okay, here the type is not saved, right? Even though the 5 is numeric, it got converted to character. Okay, so type is not saved. It converts into the shape that it feels is better, right? But in list that you're going to see now, the individual properties of the data is saved. Okay, so if you have a string, sorry, character and a numeric, it will remain so. Okay, so let's create a list. Okay, so we're talking about list here. So let's say I create stats, let's say. Okay, so say list. Now list can have your colors. It can have a logical. It can have a numeric. Okay. So now when you print, say stats, so see here, see read is a string, right? So it is mentioned as string, true, and here you see it is 5. Okay. Right. So the values are stored the way we gave it. It did not change like vector. Yes.
Yeah.
And any other thing that you notice here? Any other thing that you notice?
It like printed them separately.
Separately, exactly. Okay. So it is printed in what you can say is like a two-dimensional format, right? So this is your first set of value. This is your second set of value. So there is a, as you said, they are separate. Okay. Unlike this, it's printed in one single line as the one dimensional. Okay. Here it is multi-dimensional. Okay. So that's one. Okay. See, the reason we are learning this thing is this is the foundation of any programming language, right? So when you talk about English, right? Um, when we learn about noun, pronoun, right? Okay, that's the basic foundation, right? So data types are like that. Okay, we need to know different parts of speeches or different data types. So when we actually start working on the programs, it is easier to manage, easier to handle. Okay, so when you're handling the real data, depending upon the data, you should be able to map to one of these data types. Okay, even though we'll be talking about we have covered list and vectors, right? We'll talk about matrices, arrays, and factors and data frames. 4 more. So probably around 10 data types. Okay, we'll be talking about today. All these 10 are are used based on the data that you are handling. Okay, so 99% of the time, any data, okay, any information can be stored in one of these format. You won't be needing to need anything other than these 10. Okay, yes, that 1% I kept it because you might have to use combination of these two. Okay, not that you can't store, you will be able to store, but you might have to use a little trick to handle that. Okay, so for example, here in the list itself, okay, list can also store your vectors. What I'll do is I will copy this just to save time. Okay, and so you have first member, second member, and this is third member. Okay, let me add third member here. So fifth became third, the 5 became fourth member, and I'm going to add. Okay, I'll close it. So what happened? First member is read, second member is true, third member is the entire vector, right? Red, blue, green, yellow, and then you have 5. Let's print it and see. So our cursor is here. I'm going to hit run and then print run. So you see, read, true, this entire thing as 1, and this is your fourth member. Okay, so that's the usage of list. Okay, okay. So list is similar to vector, just that it can store multiple values. Not multiple, I mean both can store multiple values. It can store multi-type, right? You can store values of different data types. List can store values of different data types, whereas vector will store data of only one type. Even if you give multi-type values as input to the vector, it will convert. Okay, if it can't convert, it will give you error, but everything can be converted to characters. So it will convert, will everything else will be converted to a vector, character only in vector. Okay. Next type is called matrices. Have you done matrices in your mathematics? Matrices are two-dimensional,
Yeah, we have.
Yeah.
right? So exactly. So those data type, the matrices data type, are stored in matrices. So we have uh, data type, okay, type of data called as matrices, and we store that data. Okay. So let's say I'm going to create a matrix here. So first let me write a heading matrix. Okay, so let's say I call it as mat1, and I say equal to, right, assignment, and I so see vector uses a function called c, right? List uses a function called list. Okay, matrices uses much problem practicing, right? So maybe spend another hour or so after the session, you'll be able to get all this. Just practice. Okay. Okay, so we're talking about matrix, and we said that we have a function called as matrix, which converts into matrix. Okay, so we have a matrix. Now I want to create matrix of numbers. Okay, so it takes, okay, matrix takes vector as input. Okay, the values that we give to matrix will be in the format of, okay, vector. So what I can do is I can create a vector called as, say, data. Okay, and I will say 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. Okay, so we have about 10 data, right? Or let's make it 12 better. 22, 24. Okay, so we have 12 data. So here we need to first pass the data, right? So I call it as data. So data is a vector. It has the data. The next thing is, okay, we have to give, okay, how many rows and how many columns you want. Okay, so we have 12, right? So let's create 4 rows and 3 columns. Okay, so 4 rows, so we have n row equal to 4. Okay, so in matrix we need to create rows and columns, right? How many rows? So 12, you can have 1 into 12, 12 into 1, 3 into 4, 4 into 3, 2 into 6, 6 into 2, right? Possible combination. You can't have 3 into 3 or 5 into 5, not possible. You can have 1 into 12, 12 into 1, 3 into 4, 4 into 3, 2 into 6, 6 into 2, right? Now, well, so whether you want to make 1 into 12 or 12 into 1, right? So 1 means the first value is number of rows, right? So when I say 1 into 12, that means 1 row, 12 columns. When I said 12 into 1, that means 12 rows and 1 column. So here let's have 4. Number of rows equal to 4 and number of columns, okay, and col equal to 3. Okay, so they are called arguments. Okay, again, when we talk about functions, we will talk about in detail, but the functions, okay, accepts what is called as arguments. The input to a functions are called as arguments. So we are passing some languages call it as parameters as well. Some call it as arguments. So parameters and arguments are same. These are the values that we pass to a function. So here matrix is a function which takes 4 arguments. First argument is the data, which needs to be displayed in metric format. Second is number of rows. Third is number of columns. And the fourth one is something called as how, by. Okay. So we call it as by row. Okay. So by row means, okay, so we have the data here, right? Now, should this data be displayed as, okay, so let's say we have okay, so we have a matrix and we are saying it should have how many we said 4 rows, right? So these are rows, isn't it? So you have 1 row, 2nd row, 3rd row and 4th row, and they are called columns. So let's draw these rows. Okay, and you have columns. So columns will be only 3, right? So these are 3 columns. Now we have, so the numbers that we have 2, 4, 6, 8, should we write 2 here, 4 here, 6 here, 8 here, then 10 here, so on, or should we write this as 2 here, 4 here, 6 here, then 8 here, right? So should it be done by column or by row? Okay, so that's what the last column is. By row is the argument, and true means do it by row. So first row will be filled, then second row, then third row, and if you make it false, then it will first column will be filled in, then second column, then the third column, right? So I'm going to show you the difference between those. So I come here, okay, to our studio, and I will say by row equal to true. See, I'm passing a logical value, right? So mat1 is created, and I'm going to say print mat1, right? So let's run it and see. So see, a matrix is printed here, right? So you have 4 rows and 3 columns, right? And values are 2, 4, 6. Okay, so we said by row. So first row is filled in, then second row, then third row, then fourth row, so on. Okay, same thing. What I'll do is I'm going to say by row equal to false. That means it will do by column. Okay, so first column is filled in 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, right? Same values, but printed in different format based on the value that we are passing to it. Yes, did you get it?
Yeah.
Is it too heavy? Should we stop here or can we continue for the 10 minutes?
We can continue.
Okay, and I guess that was Gauri, right? Or Keshav?
Yeah, it was me, Gori.
That was
Yeah.
Gauri.
Yeah, so Keshav, what do you say?
We can continue.
Great, awesome. Just 2 more things, okay? 2 more logic. And see, yeah, just talking about these data types, okay? We haven't taken any examples to demonstrate actual working, right? We'll do that later, okay? In due course. Okay, so we have seen vectors, we have seen list, we have seen matrix. Okay, vector is 1-dimensional, same data type, Okay, list is multidimensional. Okay, not multidimensional, you can say, but that is in column format. Okay, matrix is multidimensional, right? 2 by 2 format. Okay, and it can accept different values. Which one? List can accept different values of different data types. Okay, next one is arrays. So your matrix is multidimensional, but maximum it can do is 2 dimension, right? Your array is truly multidimensional. You can go for 3, 4, 5, 6 different dimensions. Okay, so arrays, that's the spelling. Okay, we'll use same data here. Okay, and I'm going to say arr, that's a variable, and I'm going to say array of, right, data. Okay, now here we define the dimension. Okay, so it's called dim. Okay, dim is the dimension. So it is 12, right? So if I say 2, 4, no, 4 into 3, 2, 2, 3. Okay, so I'll say dimension, and this is also in vector format. Okay, so 2 comma 2 comma 3. So length 2, breadth 2, height 2. Okay, but see, our computer screen is 2-dimensional, right? We can see only 2-dimensional. But what we want is we want 3-dimensional. So what it's going to do is going to break it into multiple set of values. Okay, so 2-dimension you can easily see, but the 3rd dimension we can't see. So it will break it into 3 dimensions. So let's print the array and check. Print array 1. Okay, so see what happened. Okay, so 2 by 2, this is 2 by 2, 2 by 2. So length and breadth is handled, but the height, the 3rd dimension can't handle. So what it has done is it has says length, breadth, and first of the 3rd dimension. So it has broken down into 3 different types. So 2, 4, 6, 8 is your first dimensions length and breadth. 10, 14, 10, 12, 14, 16 is the second part of your 3rd dimension, and this is the 3rd dimension. Okay, so you can define a problem or a data into multiple dimension based on array. Matrix is maximum 2 dimension. Okay, but if you want to go for more than 2 dimension, that's when we need to use arrays. Okay, is it good?
Yeah.
Okay, so see, even if you don't even if you don't remember the ways, or what you call the syntax, okay, how to create, okay, it is so easy, right? The name and the function name is same, but just remember, okay, end of today's session, if you remember that we have 2 main types of data types. One is complex and basic. In basic you have integer, numeric, character, complex, and logical. Okay, on the data structure, on the complex data type, we have vector, list, matrices, arrays, right? And we'll talk about factors. If you remember these things, that is good enough. Okay, other things you need to practice, right? How to create a vector, how to create a list, you will have to practice a little bit, but at least you should remember these names. Okay, that's the objective of today's session. Okay, so what are factors? Okay, factors in a way are like vector. Difference is the factors will have values getting repeated multiple number of times. Okay, so and again, this is very helpful on data analysis that we do. Okay, so let's say you have gender, right? So you might have uh, data of with 1,000 rows, right? So you have 1,000 different rows. Okay, so let's say you have a customer data. You have customer data. So you have the customer data of 1,000 customers. So you have 1,000 rows. Okay, and one of the column, okay, is gender. Okay, now the gender will be only male and female, right? Male and female would be repeated multiple number of times. Okay, so if the values is repeated from a given set of values. Okay, so here we're talking about just two values, right? Male, female. Let's say you talk about programming languages. Okay, so let's say you're doing some research. Okay, how many people as a percentage of people working in different programming languages, you end up creating 10 languages. Okay, C, C++, Java, JavaScript, SQL, Python, R, Go, right? Multiple languages. So even though you end up creating 10 languages, but these 10 values only will be repeated multiple number of times, right? You will not have 1,000 values for 1,000 rows. But when you talk about date of birth, it is possible to have 1,000 different combination, right? But when you talk about values which repeats itself, like days, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, right? These are the days which will repeat itself. In such places, such things we store as factors. Okay. It is also created using vector, but these are called factor because it is going to repeat the values. Okay, each of the 1,000 rows will have a given set of 1,000 values, not 1,000, say 10 values or 12 values, 15 values, or just 2 values in case of like gender we saw, right? But the values will be repeated from the set. Cities, right? We talk about the cities. So the customers can belong to multiple cities, multiple state. Okay, but maybe cities can be just too many. Let's say state, right? So even they can belong to different state, but it will be one of those. So when you fill up the form, online forms, the factors, okay, generally would be put it under a drop down box. When you see a drop down, you should immediately think, oh, that's an example of, okay, factor in R programming. Okay, yes,
Yeah.
okay. So here too we represent factor as factor function. So I'm going to say fact1 equal to factor of data, right? Okay, so but that's not the right way. What I'm going to do is, generally you won't have numbers. I'm going to put this here as a data. Okay, I'm going to put this as factor. Okay, factor is the last topic. We'll stop after factor. Okay, we'll have one more data frame. We'll do it tomorrow. Data frame is little more not tricky, but little more expect explanation is required. So we'll do it tomorrow. Okay, let's finish factors and we'll stop here. So data, we have 4 values. Okay, now when you say factor 1 equal to factor of data, that means the data, sorry, the vector is converted to, okay, data frame. Now I will simply print fact1. When I print fact1, let's run these lines of code. Okay, so you see this blue, green, red, and yellow. Okay, the order that we gave was red first, then blue, then green, then yellow. But it converted into blue, green, red, yellow. Can you see what logic it has applied? Can you guess?
Alphabetical.
Alphabetical order. That is right. So factor, when you declare something as factor, it stores within it, okay, inherently, okay, in the memory, okay, in this particular order. Okay, so we will be using what is called encoding. We will encode into numbers later if you want to. So blue will get value 1, even though red is appearing first, but since blue starts with B, alphabetical order logic is followed. Okay, so we'll stop here. We will continue from okay, from factors tomorrow. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, I'm going to share the document on WhatsApp, so you will have it. And the recording, I'll have to render it, so it might take okay some time, but I'm going to
Wait, so
share as
do
soon as
our
possible.
programs automatically save?
Yes, yes, programs do get automatically saved. Okay, so now even though see this is untitled, if I close this window and start Studio again, okay, the programs will be intact. Okay, so yes, it does save automatically. Right, that was the question, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so any question before we end the session?
No.
No?
No.
No? Great. Awesome. Then we'll end it here for the day and we'll catch you tomorrow, same time.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Have a good day. Practice well. And same link we'll use tomorrow as well. Okay. We'll connect using same link
Yeah.
tomorrow as well. Yeah.
Okay.
Take
Thank you.
care. Yeah. Good day. Bye.